Hello, Seventh-day Ascendist children, to the Indigo children, to my insufferable brothers and sisters. Welcome to the unofficial Tool podcast Disgustipated, the show that goes elbow deep, overthinking, and analyzing Tool songs. So much overthinking that you haven't gotten the episode that I promised you, and I am here to apologize for that. Most humbly, I've pretty much been trying to work on it nonstop since I've been home from Los Angeles. There have been breaks where I've had to gather my thoughts and organize myself. And like I said, I overthink pretty much everything, not just Tool songs. I'm a chronic overthinker. I'm overthinking this as we speak. I've overthought the show of the podcast. But that's not the point, but it is kind of the point. This whole thing gets very meta, and this episode's going to be rather meta. Life is a synchronicity of events within events, and I tie them all together, and my brain constantly fights with the duality of things. A part of my brain is saying to me, who gives a shit what you think? And another part of my brain is saying, well, you have these people that do care what you think, and what you're up to, and what you want to talk about. And a part of me says, you are interesting, and you do have interesting things to say. And another part of me says, you need a conversation piece. You need somebody to talk to. And another part says, well, then I become reliant on another person. And then I've also created a format of the podcast that I'm supposed to stick within. I've created a cell for myself, a place that is almost a trap. I think I've created something rather unique, but at the same time, it's so stifling to have to talk about one subject, say Tool, which I love Tool, but I am so much more than Tool. I feel like I had to put this video out to explain myself on why it's taking so long to get to the video that people are waiting for. I had to make this video, and it almost felt hypocritical to spend time making this video and editing it to then postpone further making the video that I'm intending to make, which I could be cram editing right now. Today is the day after Easter. Happy birthday, Maynard! What a day to be Maynard's birthday. Easter, the day Jesus is risen in the Christian faith. But you know that he was raised in a Christian faith, or whatever sect they want to call it of Christian faith. That's not important. It's a Christian-based religion. They all tie together in my head. You know that Maynard has experienced this several times in his life. I don't know how many times it takes to get back around to being Easter on his birthday again, but it's probably happened a few times in his life. So at some point he had to deal with being born on the day Christ was risen. That's a thing for him. So I thought the Lesser Key song White Rabbit that was released yesterday on Easter was a good song to base this episode on, because let the rabbits wear glasses. And also because I spent a lot of time yesterday listening to it while we were hiding Easter eggs, the song was playing, and and then last night as I was falling asleep with a lot of things going through my head, processing everything, and I tried to expand my mind a little bit yesterday, and it helped me to deal with some of the struggles of, like I said, duality thinking, or what my show is. Is it camera-based? Is it audio-based? And so much of trying to force control onto something that is almost uncontrollable. This world around us is uncontrollable, and we try to force structure and shape onto this thing that is always changing, ever-changing and chaotic all around us, and we try to put order to it, which that's a big part of what I'm struggling with the episode, was look at pages of trying to put things in order, which I did. I mean, this is the order that I chose, but is it the right order? Is it a good order even? I don't know, but it's the order that it's going to be, and now I have to go through and edit this thing and cut out the silences, and some of those silences would be tolerable if I had another person if I was talking to OGT founding father over here.
46 and 2 score ago, being on a dollar bill actually meant something.
Well, I would have to say that the dollar's gone down quite a bit in value, and it sucks that you're on the $1 bill, but at least you're on a dollar bill. That's all you can really hope for. I struggled with even hooking up a mic. Like, I could talk into just the camera, and the quality of the audio is only marginally better with this and my interface into a computer, and then I got to take that. There's a whole series of plugins and processes that go into producing the audio the way it is, and it's only still marginally better than the camera audio would be, except then you would hear little noises in the background and not just straight my voice into a microphone, and then you wouldn't get the nice illusion of a fancy microphone. This has some production value. Woo! This has fancy production value. But hey, this is my show, and I set it up this way, and it's going to be what I'm doing. But the struggle is also editing that podcast, so I'm going to get back to that. But I also want to get back to music. This is why I have a microphone to begin with. It's why I have all this equipment. That's why these guitars hang back here is music. I love Tool, and I love this podcast has been very cathartic for me. But music is what I want to get back to. And I know that you guys know this. But the music that introduces the show is my music. And I want to get back to making more music and focusing on music. And maybe I can do both. This, that, and music. If I manage my time more carefully. And you know what? Maynard's birthday yesterday, the post by Alex Gray that called him a world famous multitasker, you know, and he's inspiring in that way of how many things you actually can get done if you just get to doing. That's inspiring. And I believe I'm capable of doing more. But also, you know, as I'm going through this cycle of questioning myself and what is my value and do I want to keep doing a show that takes so much time to edit? What if I just cut the video out? What if it was just audio? What if I did, hey guys, there's another Tool show. It's called Spiral Out Podcast. The guy, Chris West, interviews people from the Tooliverse, he calls it. I prefer still just say Tool Universe because it's just, I like saying universe. Maybe that's all it is. But the Tool Universe, the wider umbrella that is people, maybe the artists and Tool fans and collectors that are associated with Tool. There's another Tool podcast. And I almost want to, I want to just interview people. I would love to talk to some of the people associated with Tool. I would love to talk to Brett Fanger, the main person behind Lesser Key. Brett Fanger, I want to say is his name. Better look that up. Hey, I was right. But I would love to talk to the wider Tool universe and not just do this silly show that I've built for myself. But, you know, like I said, I've kind of set up a format, and maybe I can think of a way to expand that format. Maybe there is a way to incorporate that element into what I already do. Or maybe I just need to get back to doing music. Or maybe I can balance both. Or maybe. I have the duality in my mind that is constantly telling me both sides of things. So this whole episode even was inspired by, like I said, I was expanding my mind yesterday, and my brother said to me, hey, as he was leaving, of course, he dropped this bomb on me that that kind of shattered my world because I had so much anxiety already about how long it's taking me to get to things. I had to convert video files from the new camera that I got. Anyway, so my brother says to me, hey, stop fucking around and letting your fans down and get that, where's that new episode, basically. I don't remember what he said, but it's like, yeah, I have a lot of guilt about that. But on my head, it's like the people that do care, I feel like I've let down. And also the people who are most valuable to me, which is my family and myself and my singer BJ and James, the drummer, and like the people that I want to make music with, the things that are most valuable to me might be taking a little bit of a backseat to this other thing sometimes. And I don't know if I want it to be that way. Or maybe I want to keep doing a show, but I don't want to stick to the format that I've already set forth. Maybe nobody cares about what I have to say unless I'm talking about Tool. Who knows? Nobody cared who I was until I put on the glasses. Some of this stuff is only going to make sense if you listen to the episode that's after this one, because this is very meta. I might have referred to Bane in the episode that follows this one. By the way, the new Batman movie is fucking awesome. Maybe one of the best Batmans that has ever been made. But here I am rambling, and I didn't mean to get rambly. Maybe I've said all the things I need to say. Maybe I just need to get back to editing this show. Like I said, this episode was inspired partially by my brother and partially by my guilt that I needed to kind of explain myself. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And the Tool Trivia episode before the one that I'm working on the previous Tool Trivia episode had so much work and production value go into it because I had more time to do it. Whereas with this one, the next episode that comes out, episode 11 has been and will be waiting. I guess it's going to be episode 11. And I even said I'll get it done on the 10th, which now in my head it became the 11th has been and will be waiting. It's the 11th. It has been, and we will be waiting for this episode, which turned out to be episode 11, which is funny because I misnamed the episode when I exported the file as 11, but it was 10. And now this is 10, and that one's 11. And now I got to go back in there and switch those around. The numbers are going to change. And the old one is the next one. It's all very confusing. It's all very meta. It's all very hard to keep this bullshit in order. And I want to get back to playing my guitars and making music and getting lost in creativity. And that's what this song, Lesser Key, White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, it's a cover of that song by Lesser Key. Lesser Key is the band with Paul D'Amore as the bass player. And Brett Finger is a fucking genius. I love the production value, and I'm pretty sure he has a lot to do with all of it. I want to be doing that. I sat there listening to that song on repeat last night, and it just reminded me, for one, of Dune. And Paul D'Amore worked on Dune. He worked on the soundtrack for Dune. I know maybe some of y'all saw that video. He's recording guitar effects for Hans Zimmer, and Hans is sitting there doing his thing. But the production value on Dune, one of the best movies probably ever. I think I've seen it 8 times now. Of course, only 3 or 4 are fully absorbed in it. And I watched that on the plane home from LA. All of this circles back into itself. And then as I'm feeling all these feelings about whether or not I want to be doing what I'm doing, spending all my time doing instead of creating music, and that gets back to the point of Lesser Key. I want to make what Brett Finger is doing. I want to be so wrapped up in music and making music and creating a whole world for people to get lost in. And that's what I did last night with Lesser Key. I got lost in the world of their White Rabbit. Let the rabbits wear glasses, I say. How about you, OGT founding father?
Let the rabbits wear wooden teeth for all I fucking care.
I concur. As you can tell, I haven't had any notes this episode, so I'm trying to remember if I touched on all the things I wanted to talk about. So the last thing I think that I wanted to say was, after all these feelings, this duality of why would anybody care what I had to say, and why do I care if anybody cares, and why don't I just talk and do my show and have fun doing it? But then again,
nobody cared who I was until I put on the glasses.
Now I just sound like a fancy guy. But Bane kind of had a fancy thing going on. Anyway, so I create this world. I enjoy creating a world of something that you could get pulled into, especially with the 2-camera thing. It does that for me anyway. I don't know if it has that effect on anybody else, but I put a lot of production value into those things. But I got back from LA on the 27th, and I didn't have enough time to put all the value into it that I thought it needed, because it was the Tool Trivia episode that I had originally envisioned with the first one, because I had this idea of somebody answering before the other person could answer with the Tool Trivia. And I finally got to do that with Julia and Mike, but I'll go more into that later in the next episode. Thank you to my brother Justin for pushing me to make this video explaining myself. And one other thing was that of all the things in the world to happen, as I'm feeling a little bit despondent about this whole thing, and a little bit overwhelmed with the whole thing, and wanting to get back to creating music, but also knowing that I have anxiety and trouble maintaining my thoughts in an order, I happened to randomly win an Alex Gray Instagram giveaway for a Tool poster, which kicked in my inspiration to finish doing what I'm doing because the universe placed this thing in my path again. So it was like a call to not just give up on what I was doing. I'll go more into that on a future episode. But I guess, wanted to tie that Alex Gray thing in there. I meant to tie that in while I was talking before, which would be easier to do conversationally if I was talking to another person or if I had notes. But I didn't write notes because I wanted this to be a fair, open-hearted episode, apologizing to you guys. Here I am. The windows to my soul bared for all of you to see. I'm so sorry. I'm going to crunch edit the shit out of this podcast. I'm sorry it's taken so long. I'm sorry that I said that it'll be out on the 10th and it's not out yet. But I'm sure you guys know how chaotic life is, and Easter was yesterday and I got kids, and I'm trying to not be overwhelmed, trying to not rush out a shitty episode because it was finally what I imagined it to be, with two people squaring off. And not only two people, but two really cool people. And I didn't want to let them down, and I didn't want to look back on a show and think it could have been better. So to maintain some of the show format, I'm going to end with what my brother gave me for my Tool Collection segment for my birthday. And in the background, you might see some of the things that will be featured in the next episode, the prior episode, the previous episode, and the next as well. But I'm going to show you. Aww. Here's my dad's ashes. Tool clock. Okay, so check this out. And then a perfectly weighted metal top. I'm going to see how long it spins, and that's how it's going to end. I'm going to probably slowly zoom in on this top spinning in front of the baked potato rock and the tool clock. Thank you for listening. I love you guys, and I'll see you shortly. I can't say for sure when the episode will be out, but it will be out by the 7th. I'm Jeff. I'm out.